uh, a little follow-up on my talk about race from earlier, where I mentioned that there's all kinds of conspiracy theories about Jews in the media, or Jews taking over the world, or Arabs trying to take over the world through violence or terrorism. Or, I've heard other versions of this too, like Hispanics trying to take over the world, or African Americans trying to take over the world or take over America. There's all kinds of conspiracy theories about everyone, it seems. The only group that is never ever accused of trying to take over the world is, I believe, the only group that has been consistently taking over the world for the past few hundred years, and that's, Caucasians. Western European people have actually been taking over the world for a long time. And we're the only group that, it seems, never gets accused of that, which is kind of strange. So, are these people who think these things crazy or stupid or evil? Absolutely not. They're perfectly rational people, and they have plenty of good arguments to back up what they're saying. The thing is, it's the way that our mind is designed to think. Your mind is a machine for recognizing and processing patterns. And so, once you have it in your mind that a certain pattern exists, then you are very good at picking out that pattern everywhere you look. And the things that don't conform to that particular pattern, your brain just passes through, and it doesn't process. This is what allows you to wake up in the morning and see the world in front of you, to see the edges of objects, and to understand the relationships between people, and so many different things. They're all patterns, and you notice these patterns. This is a good and necessary thing, and also sometimes a dangerous thing. So it's a double-edged sword, because it can make you blind to things sometimes that you should see, and it can distort your thinking. So, in other words, the idea is planted in your mind that the Jews own the media, for instance. And so every time you look at the credits on a movie, you're going to see every Jewish-sounding name that's on there, but you won't notice any of the others. If you were looking for Irish names, you might see all the Irish names. You might see Irish people everywhere. Personally, I just don't know who owns the media besides, 5 major corporations. That's who owns the media. If there's a lot of people working in the media, they're just punching the clock like the rest of us. They're not in control of anything. They're just on TV. And the people that are really in control are telling them what to say. That's what I think is going on. And I don't know if there's any evidence of anything contrary to that. So basically, you have a pattern in your mind, and everything you see conforms to that pattern. If you're looking at the news and they talk about Muslims committing terrorist act, you immediately latch onto that and you say, aha, there they go again. More violence. That's all these people ever do. But if there's Arabs or Muslims in the news and they're doing good things, you don't tend to notice. You might hear it, you might see it, but it doesn't register nearly as profoundly as the thing that you expected to see. You know, terrorism is a very common tactic. It's a common response to military occupation, and it's been going on for a long time. You know, there were terrorists in Vietnam blowing up Americans, of course, because we occupied them militarily. You know, and there's also extremists that commit terrorism for no discernible reason. Timothy McVeigh, for instance, you know, a white guy from the Midwest, right? I mean, I can't remember exactly where he was from, but I know he was an American, and he's just one of many Americans that have blown things up. But we don't think about that because it doesn't fit the pattern that's in our mind, the stereotype, so to speak. So, you know, stereotypes and patterns and the things that we expect have a very profound effect on our thinking, and they can enable us to you know, function, to see relationships, to categorize things, and they can also blind us. They can make us think things are simple when they really aren't. You can categorize you know, Jews as bankers and TV personalities, for instance, when they're absolutely no different than anybody else. But if you see a Jewish person who doesn't fit that stereotype, you don't notice them. They're not there to you. And if you see a Arab who is talking about peace and equality in the Middle East, that doesn't mean anything to you because it's not what you expect. You expect someone to say, wah, 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 you know, and just be crazy. When you see that, it's going to register in your mind, and you're going to say, aha, yep, they're all the same. But people are all the same, just not they're not stereotypes. All people all over the world, no matter what race or religion, are in many fundamental ways exactly alike. They don't fit all the stereotypes, except when we notice that they fit them. So anyway, that's all I got to say about stereotypes and racism and the conspiracy theories, like I said, that are rampant these days. You know, conspiracy theories about all sorts of people except for the people who really are taking over the world, which is us. You know, and the people that are really in control, they would just love for us to think that it's the Jews that are the problem, or that it's the Muslims that are the problem, or the black people, or, you know, anybody else. They would love for us to just divide ourselves up into little bitty groups and squabble and bicker and accuse each other of all kinds of nasty things while they make all the money and run the show. That's what I think is really happening, and it's been happening for a long time. It's called divide and conquer. Just like when Belgium went into Rwanda, and the first thing they did was they tell the Hutus, hey, you know what? The Tutsis are the cause of all your problems. And then they told the Tutsis, oh, the Hutus, they're terrible people. They want to kill you. And meanwhile, the Belgians were picking all of their pockets and taking everything from them. And they never looked at the Belgians because they were too busy looking at each other. And eventually, they started hacking each other up with machetes. And it's exactly what's going on now, I think. So, anyway, thanks for watching.